Hello friends and welcome to another Make It Monday Facebook Live. It feels like it's been a while since I've been live here on Facebook. Give me just a moment to refresh my page, make sure we're actually up and running. I am Jamie Sales, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, coming to you tonight with my version of a card I received from another demonstrator. Trading cards with other demonstrators is a great way to get new ideas, and I have one that was a unique look that I really liked, and so I'm going to use some different materials and show that to you tonight. But please let me ask you to say hello, whether you're watching live or the replay, Facebook or YouTube. I'm trying to make the leap to YouTube. YouTube does not allow me to do live videos just yet. You have to have a certain number of videos on your page before they allow you to go live. So we're gonna go live here, and then I'll hopefully upload it there as well. So wherever you are, say hello. It's nice to know who's with me. Before we get started, hi Donna, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Let me mention that I have Stamp Camp here at the house this coming Saturday. RSVPs are always appreciated so I can prepare the correct amount of materials, but I would love to have you join us for that if you're local to the Northwest Indiana, Southwest Michigan area. Details are on the event page. Also, Wednesday is September 10th. The 10th of the month is always the last day to get in on the paper pumpkin kits. And the September kit is going to coordinate with the Autumn Toile, if I'm saying that correctly, designer series paper, and then the coordinating stamps that go with that. This month's paper pumpkin kit will coordinate with all of those things. So if you're into that fall look, this would be a great kit to get in on. But jump on board before the 10th if you would like that. Put your subscription on hold by the 10th if you don't want this one. What else? I believe that's all of my news, and so we're ready to get right into the project. So let me adjust my camera and we will get started. I'm going to, I see someone else is here. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to rotate the camera. Here comes a spin and a bend. Let's get you locked in place. It looks like it's Judy. Hi, Judy. Thanks for joining me. Yep, there we are. Okay. Yep, perfect. Let's see if we can get another light to get rid of that shadow. Okay, hopefully this will work. Alrighty, so okay, I'm gonna first show you the card that I received. So this is the card that I got in a swap with other demonstrators, and the person I received this from, I'm digging out her business card. Her name is Ruth Duda, and she is from Georgia. And so she sent this fun card. And this one utilizes, this designer series paper is all from, I'm looking at my cheat sheet, Floral Impressions paper pack. But I really like the way that this fold looks with these, I've got a gatefold here, but also just this kind of a quilted kind of look. I really like that. So that's what I was trying to figure out and replicate. So I did a practice one with the celebratory sips. I'll show you that at the end. But I'm going to use yet another pack of paper tonight for this one. So I've got here a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to do just a couple score lines. So I'm sliding my dark cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to put the edge of my paper at 1 3/4, and I'll score there. with the light gray. And then if I slide this now all the way over to 6, which I love because we've got like this bumper here so that I keep my paper straight, that puts this score line that I just made at 4 1/4, which is the perfect fold your card in half measurement is 4 1/4. So we're gonna come over here, we'll fold this one in. They're both gonna fold inward. So whichever one you choose to fold first. And then we've got the score line, so I'm gonna kind of fold that, but instead of just folding and creasing right on the score line, sometimes your measurements are just the tiniest bit off. So what I like to do is I'm going to take the edge of this paper, butt it up against this edge. And that should be very easy to do because we've already got that score line in there. But if I kind of hold that in place, see, I do have a little bit of a bubble. So holding this where I want it, use my bone folder to reinforce that score line. And I find that that just helps it meet up a little bit better than not doing that. So we've got that ready to go. And then the designer series paper that I'm going to use today is from the Spooky Sweet pack. And I showed you that a few weeks ago in my video. But I have a piece here that's just gray, kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's got some like diagonal slash marks through it, different shades of gray. And this piece is 1.5 by 5 1/4 to put on this panel. So that's ready to go. Now this is the side that's going to get all of that cool folded paper. So I've cut some strips here, again from that Spooky Sweet pack. These each measure 1 by 2.5. I have 5 of them. Okay. And I like that it's got like a candy print on one side. The other side, again, is like the slashy diagonal lines, black and gray with some orange in it. So what I'm going to do is, okay, let me show you again. Here's this card. So you need to decide which side of the paper you want to be the folded parts and which part you want to be the little centers. So you're going to have less of the centers showing, more of the folded parts showing. So I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with the black and orange on top. So that will be the part that less shows. Then I'll get more of my candy print. And then, let me see, let me put some white under here just for some contrast. I'm going to take the top right corner and just kind of work it down at an angle using my thumb to kind of get the paper to curl a bit. Bottom left is going to come up. So again, we're just kind of working it, break some paper fibers. See, it's got a tiny bit of a curl in it. And then I can take this top right corner and I'm going to pull it down at a diagonal so that what was the end of the paper, the short end, now lines up with the bottom. And I know I twisted that, so bottom and top make a little less sense, but like that. So this corner is going to come up here so that this side is flush with the edge of that long side. Okay? You can reinforce those creases with your bone folder. I'm going to do that again and again. I need 3 pieces that are folded that way. So top right goes down And it helps if you take your time to try and get those corners nice and tight. We're doing 45-degree angles for those of you that would like to practice a little math tonight. So that's 2. One more. Again, just kind of curving them in helps them bend a little easier when you're ready to actually fold them. So all the Halloween things this year with Stampin' Up are found online as online exclusives, which means while supplies last. So if you're a person that wants in on the Halloween things, grab them while you can. I feel like it's a little early to be crafting for Halloween, but I want to go ahead and show you so that if there's something you want to order, you have a chance to get it. Okay, I did 3 folds that way. Okay, the other 2 are going to have the opposite corners. So this time I'm going to take the top left and fold it down, and the bottom right is going to go up. So we're just kind of curving in the opposite direction. Again, kind of get it going that way, and then put my creases in. Oh, that one's a little bit off, but it should work. And crease, crease. One last. See how they form a different parallelogram. Kind of work them that way. And if you take a little more time and work them a little bit better, it's an easier folding process. Got that one, and this one. I also love that it doesn't take that much paper to create all of these little guys. Okay, so we have 3 going this way, 2 going this way, and that is what you need to form that. I'm not a quilter. I don't know the terminology. I'm sure there's a term for it, but I'm keeping these separate and starting with the fold that has 3. And I'm just going to rotate it so that this fold goes along the bottom of my card. And this measurement allows it to fit perfectly from the edge to this fold line. Okay. What I've found does not fit perfectly is there's just the tiniest bit of gap at the top and bottom. So if you take this, the bottom one all the way to the bottom, take the top one all the way to the top. Okay, those are both pieces that I had 3. Okay, let me just set them here for a minute and show you. And then these come next so that they kind of work together like a puzzle. Okay, that one would go there. And we're just putting the little folds that we created next to each other so that when they sit together, it looks like a diamond. Now, what you'll notice is this one, there's a space there. They don't fit perfectly top to bottom if you take this one all the way to the top and this one all the way to the bottom. So how can you fix that? Well, you can leave a little gap in between each one. So, you know, do a little space, tinier gap between each of those steps. I don't like that so much. I want them to fit tight because that's what gives you the look of like this is one square. So instead, what I'm choosing to do is leave a little gap at the top and a little gap at the bottom. And I've only made 2 of these so far, so I'm still figuring out how large that gap should be. I feel like it's kind of one of those things with a bit of a learning curve. We're just going to, okay, I feel like this is close enough that I'm going to guess. And this is maybe what I'm going to end up with as my gap at the bottom is, I don't know. I was going to say 1/8 of an inch, but I don't think it's that big. I think it's just a couple millimeters. But adding back to the diamond, I love that candy print. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap at the very bottom so that when I piece them all together, I can have my folds nice and tight. Now the other option, what I could have done had I not already glued this piece down, is to glue the first one tight to the bottom, get them all arranged and attached, and then just trim a little bit off the top or bottom so that it's even. And then your card base itself is just slightly shorter than 5.5. That would work as well, except that I already glued this gray piece on, and if I do it now, my borders won't be even. So something to take into consideration before you start if you choose to try this. Okay. And we're going to cross our fingers that it works out at the end. That I spaced correctly. Hello, Emily. Glad you made it in time to join us. Thanks for sharing as always. I forgot to draw a name, you guys, for the last video, so I'll have to do that after we wrap up tonight, and then I'll stick something in the mail to somebody or get it to you at Stamp Camp this week. And that's pretty good. Got a little bit of gap again at the top, and it's about the same as what I have at the bottom, so I'm okay with that. I'm sure there's a math whiz who could figure out a different length for these little rectangles to take care of that. That's more math than I care to do. It doesn't bother me that much that I want to work all that math. Okay, so there's the gist of it, but we need a sentiment, right? So I did not buy a Halloween specific box of stamps this year, but I did purchase from the new catalog. I'm not 100% sure if it's in the catalog or online exclusives, but this set is Words for the Season. And what I love about it is it has a Christmas, a gratitude. I guess that's another Christmas or holiday. That doesn't have to be Christmas, any kind of holiday. This one I feel like is a New Year's or a congratulations, and have a spooktacular Halloween. So that's what I'm going to use. And I have a circle here from the Stylish Shapes dies. Some pumpkin pie ink. And the great thing about circles is you don't have to worry about them being crooked or straight because you can always spin your circle. And I'm going to mount that on. Okay, I cut 2 different circles. Let me, again, put them on white and see how well you can see. So this one is a stitched, Stylish Shapes stitched. And this one, can you see all of the like radiating stitching around that one? That one is from Spotlight on Nature. And I think that I like that one a little better because it's a bigger border than I would usually do. And so I like that it's filled with that kind of stitching. So we'll get this mounted here. Did you all get any of the new Halloween stuff? Anybody? Okay, so there's my sentiment, which I'm going to put right there. So remember, this is a gatefold, so it's going to open here, so no glue on this portion, right? All my glue needs to be on this side, so I don't glue my card closed. And if you did get Halloween stuff, what did you get? What are you making? All the fun questions. You'll have to share on a what you're working on Wednesday. Now's when I'm getting my words straight. Press that down. And because these are candy papers, what I thought I would do is pull out, Donna did not. This paper pack, if you remember from when I showed you all the different prints, is actually a specialty paper pack because it has these punch outs or die cuts. Last time I used one of these little teddy bear princesses, but this time I thought with this candy print I would do a couple candy corns. So let's just pop that one out. I meant to look at this coordinating stamp set that goes with this paper pack because there is a stamp and die set that coordinates to see if there were candy corn stamps or what kinds of stamps were included, and I neglected to do that, so I can't tell you. But look at how cute these are, kind of like instead of embellishments. I think I'm going to put those like that. Emily says she ordered some, but she doesn't have them yet. I hate that waiting game. Yeah, the punch outs are amazing. As you know, if you've been watching me a while, I don't mind I don't mind fussy cutting things out with scissors, but it's just so much quicker and easier when you can just pop them out like that. And I'm going to let that go just like that. I'm not going to add extra embellishments. However, I don't normally decorate the inside live, but I got to thinking about what else do I have in terms of Halloween imagery. So first I'm going to use just this little scrap of that same DSP that we used on the front because I happened to mismeasure something initially and I had this little scrap left. So we're going to put it to use right there. That kind of a thing is a great way to add a little decoration to the inside of a card without using too much extra stuff. And then I pulled out Choose Happy, which is in the annual catalog. It's been around a while, and I've got this pumpkin with this jack-o'-lantern face. And there's not a word that says Halloween, but there is this ever so tiny, tiny word that I'm going to use that says simply boo. Okay, that's crazy tiny. I know, I get it. But it's what I had, so it's what I'm using. And we're going to do a little further decorating by putting one of those pumpkins right there in the corner. And we'll use the little face to turn him into a jack-o'-lantern. I could have colored the whole thing, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to let it go like that. We've got a minimal sentiment, so we're going to go with a minimal little decorative piece there. We'll add this to the inside. And this will be completely done. Unlike the large box of cards that I've been working my way through that have finished fronts and not finished insides. And I have to go back later and decide what to put on the inside. So there we go. Inside and outside. Thanks, Donna. I'm glad you like it. Fun, right? Okay, and again, just as a reminder, the one that I received in trade, she used more designer series paper from that Floral Impressions pack to add some more decoration on the inside of hers. And the other one, which I'll just go ahead and show you that I did for practice, used the Celebratory Sips designer series paper and the beautiful bokeh is what I used along the side. Here you can see that I did have some gaps in between. I hadn't figured out the spacing issue. But it doesn't have to be a sentiment that goes on the front. You could put an image on the front as well. And there's my inside of that one. This designer series paper pack is another online exclusive and is currently in the low inventory list. So I don't know whether they will keep it, if they're going to restock that one, or whether when it's one of those things that maybe when it's gone, it's gone. I'll give this just an extra. You can see these two are staying pretty well closed. This one's a little fresher, so it wants to pop open a little bit more, but if you just let that sit for a while with a block on it, that'll take care of that. Or as soon as it goes into one envelope, it's going to stay a little better closed. But that is what I have for you tonight. So here comes another spin. And a lift so that I can. Thank you for joining me tonight. And again, one more reminder, Stamp Camp here at the house on Saturday. I would love it if some of you will join me. RSVPs are always appreciated. I just finished selecting the cards we're going to make, so this week I'll be chopping paper, and I hope some of you can join me. But if I don't see you Saturday, back here next Monday for another Make It Monday Live. Thanks for joining me. Good night.